And our guest for the night is Nate.
Tell them that I'm the headliner. What's up, people?
I guess what I'm saying is don't give to charity and don't help anyone.
And I'm like, wait a minute, now I have two of these hats. What am I going to do? So I gave the other one to Eliora. She still has to this day. I sort of like, just as long as you have my hat, you have something to remember me by.
I'm not picking on him for having bad hair. Everybody's seen what he used to.
Bad hair. It's
awesome.
To essentially take a Faustian bargain, no pun intended, and count on the good graces of Hasbro.
What are your other interests besides animation and your weird obsession with Clone High?
I don't have a weird obsession with Clone High.
Do you feel sometimes the temptation to abandon your studies and pursue the whole YouTube thing? Just, that's your full-time thing?
Nope. I am definitely scared of waking up one day because I've had it happen already and my channel just being gone.
Your voice of reason, you might be insane.
No, that's horror score. Unless you want me to be insane.
Alright. Toon Link, this is for you, I guess.
nice.
Yes, sir.
Now?
Yes, sir.
Now?
Okay. We'll probably edit this all out, I hope.
Yeah, most likely.
All right.
Yes.
I was just wondering whether you were going to start recording in a few minutes or whether I just walked in on a
we were just mostly mucking around and having
right.
talking smack for a while here.
Just in case I spill my deepest, darkest secrets on air.
It's okay, Cloud. I will still love you anyway.
I actually begged them to get you in here.
I guarantee you won't.
You underestimate my libido, sir.
Oh, dear.
All right, let's do the intro here. This is FNGR with my co-hosts, Aeon of Dreams.
Howdy, bitches.
Corpulent Brony.
Hello.
Crowne Prince. Damn,
You guys are all being weird tonight.
And Mr. CloudCuckooCountry.
I actually don't even know what this podcast is. But,
Good job.
but I'm happy to turn up.
Excellent, sir.
It's okay, it'll be an ontological mystery.
Yes, we usually try and reach behind the person's persona that's online. I don't know how much of yours is a put on and how much is the real you in your videos. That's part of why we do these podcasts. Some people let us in and some people keep up their shield.
Well, I suppose there is a lot of character in what I put online in the sense that I'm a lot more sort of snide and I don't know, my words are failing me now. So that's one thing that is the difference between me and my persona is that I'm much more eloquent when I have a script ready.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's strange.
I'm not as I'm demonstrating right now. People have told me that I have really good writing skills, but my speaking skills are poor when I'm improvising. So I'm much better at slowly constructing my words and having time to think about them a lot, I guess, maybe.
Well, that's a surprise. You're very fooled.
Well, certainly, sir. I was just taking a peek through your channel here. I couldn't help but notice that you've actually talked on Call of Cthulhu. How long have you been a fan of the series by Miss H.P. Lovecraft?
Actually, not that much of a fan of H.P. Lovecraft. I talked about the specific story, Call of Cthulhu, mainly because I really liked the idea behind it, and that's an old video, so it's probably not as of the quality that you'd find in my newer videos. But I just sort of, because I knew what Cthulhu was, I knew the general idea behind it, and I had read a collection of stories by H.P. Lovecraft that I'd bought just because I wanted to get into him. And I never really got that deep into the Lovecraftian lore, universe, whatever you want to call it. But I just kind of felt like talking about the idea behind the Cthulhu story, because that's what I'm interested in, stories, is subtext and meta-narrative.
Analysis, essentially.
Not per se. I think they mean different things. You can analyze subtexts, but I don't think you'd call a subtext or a meta-narrative an analysis.
I could keep going, but Peter, do you have any more questions here?
Oh, yeah. Are you seriously out already?
No, are you kidding me? No, I actually was referring to one of the videos I actually remember catching from yours, which I knew that I was... everyone has always sat there and said, oh, CloudCuckooCountry should have more followers, was I believe it's your Sorry Ricardo here one. I can't honestly speak to
That was one of the first comments I ever received, and I've been receiving it ever since.
Oh,
you should have more followers.
Yeah. I agree. People follow senpai.
I was about to say I would totally lump you in with Peter. We're like, this is the most intelligent person in the world. Why don't I look at your videos more often?
Oh, I'm not that intelligent. I'm just well spoken.
It's okay, man. I still think you're intelligent.
But sir, I respect the art of the bluff.
Yes, he does.
I forgot that it was such a long time ago when I was sitting there reading about this. It's when I can tell that the person is of quality is when you're talking about something like postmodernism and the like, something I care absolutely nothing about, and yet you have me interested in your video. You have talent. You'd be a great teacher.
Well, with the postmodernism thing, I didn't talk that extensively about it, but and I have wanted to talk about it to a more extent though, because it is a very extensive topic. But that's part of the limitations of sort of my knowledgeability in arts theory. I mean, I think I mentioned in one of my videos that I never actually took university level literary analysis or critical analysis. I'm actually taking that this year as an elective, just because I thought I could stop being a goddamn poser. But but yeah, I have been trying to improve to levels where I can confidently talk about things like postmodernism in detail, which has been a long and arduous struggle, and it involved a lot more reading than I'm used to, and you can believe it, I'm pretty used to a lot of reading. So
how many years have you had so far in university?
Starting up my third one this year.
Okay, what are you studying?
I was originally studying just pure science, but over time I realized science is something I'm interested in and deeply passionate about, but it's not something I want to do as a career. So I recently changed to art science and want to see if I can try my hand at science reporting in the future with a journalism major on the art side.
Art science?
I got a question if we feel like going back to the postmodernism thing. I don't know exactly what your opinion on postmodernism is, but correct me if I'm wrong, because if I'm correct about this, me and you have the same point of view on it. It's not that we hate postmodernism, it's that we hate how it's kind of been abused.
Yeah, I came up with like an analogy for when explaining it to one of my friends who has a deep-seated hatred of postmodernism, is that I see it more because I, have a surface level understanding of postmodernism, but I see it more as like a intellectual tool, I suppose, as like a tool in the toolbox that's used for a specific type of critique or analysis. But you wouldn't use it universally. Like I know some people who call themselves postmodernists, and no, I don't know them, but I know of people, writers and philosophers and so on. I forget their names though. Something, one of those. But they identify as postmodernists and try and extrapolate postmodernist thinking onto a critique of everything. And while that's a valid approach, it's not necessarily useful in most cases. Whereas the analogy I came up with is like if postmodernism is a deconstructive tool, say a saw, you wouldn't build something with it or no, hold on. The analogy is if your worldview, if a worldview is a house, you wouldn't build a house with a saw. You'd take a house down with a saw, the saw being postmodernism in the analogy. Other intellectual tools being tools of construction, because I often find that postmodernism, because it's a reaction to modernism, is more of a deconstructive tool in the vein of Derrida, or who was that other guy?
Baudrillard. He's the only name that really comes up. I know he made some cool concepts, but usually when I see it used and abused, it's usually to justify some weird social theory. I see a lot of people who seem to have forgotten that the nature versus nurture debate, it's somewhat settled, and they'll say, oh, it's 100% nurture because postmodernism. And sometimes I look at those people okay, but last I checked, I cannot think away my penis. Because they talk about, gender constructs, and it's gender and all that stuff. Oh, there's no biological base for this at all. There's no neurochemical element to it. It's all matrix stuff.
Isn't that what Crowne Prince proved? By fooling all of us into thinking she was a guy?
Indeed. You might say that, yes.
Yeah. Crowne Prince. You are a postmodernist at heart.
Oh dear.
That's going to be the title. Let me write that down.
Postmodernist at heart.
Yeah, it is fun to mess with, though. There was a guy named SoCal, and it was I think it was called the SoCal Scandals. I forget exactly what he did. He published an article. He got postmodernists to believe it, but what he ended up doing, he pulled this trick that totally had them all running away with their tail between their legs, and said some famous quote you can think about this, and it's cool to think about, but no matter what you do, things like gravity are not social constructs. If you wish to argue with me, then you may feel free to jump out of the window of my apartment. I'm on the 21st floor. Good luck.
Well, I mean, you could take Cartesian metaphysics and say gravity isn't real because the only way that I perceive gravity is through my sensory organs, and I've been told what gravity is through my sensory organs, and my sensory organs could be unreliable, but I hate Descartes, so yeah. But it is
There's also
argument.
that, pragmatically speaking, you're still dead, and if you're not dead, everything really hurts. So pragmatically, I don't think you can just think that away.
Yeah.
Oh yes, pain, social construct. I can just think that away, I'm sure.
So, I don't know. It's useful for deconstructing things that are actually social constructs, but otherwise it's totally useless.
I agree, yeah. Okay, here's another one. I don't know if this changed since you mentioned this in a video. Of the 3 metaphysical representations of the self, if I'm using the word right, which one do you adhere to?
I think I said I was a materialist, as in
Yeah.
I don't believe in spirits or souls whatsoever, which is actually...
Kind of.
No, the 3 that would my philosophy class is coming back to me. There was materialism, which all but
Everything
one
is material.
Yeah, everything is material, which all but one student believed in my philosophy class. There was one Catholic kid who was a dualist. Dualism, which is there's the physical world and the spiritual world, and that's at its base. There are like different types of dualism, which is, they're completely separate or they're linked in some way, although arguing that they are linked in some way is problematic because that way we'd surely be able to measure spiritual phenomenon from the physical world. So most academic dualists tend to go for the separation. At least that's what I heard what I remember. And then, of course, the final one is idealism, which is everything is spiritual and construct, and there is absolutely no physical matter or material whatsoever, which it's pretty easy to find evidence against that. So not many people tend to believe that genuinely. And if they do, they usually aren't taken seriously.
Yeah, but any evidence that you can find is merely spiritual.
Yeah.
Well, it could all just be a head game.
Exactly.
Argue that theory.
Okay, we're all just brains in jars.
Yeah.
It's okay.
We're all plugged into the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then there's the question as to whether or not that matters.
I can't tell if Corpulent is offended or just trolling.
I don't troll.
It could be like the Rift, the system we had in the Rift, where we all just give you a nice... Oh, wait, Crowne Prince is in the call. I don't want to say anything. There was a common joke we had as mods, or that I had as a mod, that involved the Matrix, but the plug was in a particularly interesting location.
Yes.
I don't even know what the joke is, but I get the idea.
I have a feeling it doesn't apply to me.
Yes.
Oh no, it does. Everyone has one of those. Everyone has one of those ports.
I had mentally shut off
problem.
because the conversation got too smart, Peter. But I'm still awake to know that you're into a zone that you should probably back out of.
Everyone has a socket.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about this. Why birds?
Why birds? I just like birds. There's no there's no like reasoning behind it. I just like birds. There is reasoning, but it was retrospective, if that's the right word. What it was I had started with the idea of I just want to draw birds because I can draw birds and I have this shitty cartoon program that I can't draw with very well. Although I can draw well with it now, like you can see my artistic skill improve from video to video. It's still not that good. Yeah, back at the beginning I was just like, I can draw birds with this thing. I'll just draw birds because I like birds. After a while I noticed, because I had read The Birds by what's his face, Aristophanes, the ancient Greek playwright, and I was like, I can draw a thematic parallel between this play and my videos because they both involve birds. And then I was like, hang on, my channel name is CloudCuckooCountry, and he invented the term Cloud Cuckoo Land. What a coincidence. I'm going to pretend it's intentional. So now that's what I tell everyone. I tell everyone I based it on an ancient Greek play by Aristophanes.
It was just a coincidence.
But it was a mistake, yeah. And I was just like, but it fits so well.
And it makes me look good.
Yeah.
Have you been outside of Australia?
Oh, yeah. I've been to Thailand. I've been to Europe. Good places. I was at the Brandenburg Gate in Germany. Good structure. Yeah, it's a good structure, the Brandenburg Gate. Fine architect. That's
I approve of this architect. I approve of the sturdiness of this gate.
Yeah. But I was in Germany, and when I was in Germany, because I learned German in high school, I tried to speak German to the German people, and I realized in retrospect after
Did you call yourself a donut?
But but I realized in retrospect that I said some really bizarre things to them, and I, was able to infer that in the moment from some weird looks that I got. But the one I worked out exactly what I said was as I have a habit of like repeating things when I'm in conversation with people. Like they'll say, "Oh, isn't it a nice day?" and I'll say, "Nice day," or whatever. And but in other languages, it starts to be a little bit weird because I mishear things a lot. And so when a guy was giving me directions to the train station and I was trying to listen in, at some point he said something that sounded like fair. I don't remember what it was, but I repeated it. And afterwards, I found out that what I had said back to him was the German word for watching television. But I just imagined if I was like a person asking if a tourist approached me and asked in English how to get to the train station, and I was explaining it to them, and then just midway through my explanation, they just said to me, "Watching television," I would feel it would be so weird. And I thought, oh shit, that's exactly what happened to that guy. And I was like, which is not, I anticipated that story would be funnier, but
that would have made my day if it had happened to me.
Yes. I actually was setting up for the payoff on that question. Sorry, Corpulent, do you want to go?
No, I think you're going to ask what I was going to ask. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably not. What would you say, since you're well-traveled, what's the biggest culture shock you've run into of the nations you've been to outside of your own?
Biggest culture shock? I haven't really been shocked by culture that much. The culture of the internet is more shocking than the culture of any European country or Thailand.
What's throwing you off the most about the internet, then?
I sometimes browse through Tumblr and whatever, and there's a lot of feminism versus the internet rhetoric going on Tumblr. It's like every second post is either like people complaining about innocuous shit and then bringing up statistics about murder and rape, and then I'm just like, it gets a bit overwhelming, I think.
Kills your inner philosopher. Huh?
Well, I want to step in and argue, except I know it's not worth it.
It would be an exercise in futility.
Yes, exactly.
I do have a question too, going along with the whole Australia thing. How many times have you found yourself fighting off the natural powers of Australia constantly trying to kill you and everyone you love?
He's referring to how everything wants to kill and eat you in Australia.
It's not that hard. I get bitten by spiders every other day, but I just tank the venom. I just tank it. Just tank it.
I get the feeling...
Just absorb it into my bloodstream. It makes me stronger.
I get the feeling that Cloud's just sitting on his table. There's a fucking huntsman spider on his chair. He just picks it up and crushes it over his orange juice. Just lets it all just seep in. He eats it for breakfast, and then he just drinks the fluids. Oh. It's like, okay, I'm well fed.
You know I'm a vegan. I don't eat animals.
Well, it's not an animal. That's a bug.
They eat me. I've lost 11 fingers to the kangaroos.
11? Oh dear.
I've lost 11 fingers to the kangaroos. They grew back because I'm Australian. So.
There's our quote right there.
Well, Cloud, if you want to be fair about the spider thing, people don't consider fish to be meat. I don't know what they think of spiders.
Well, I consider fish to be meat. I've also lost a couple of toes to fish.
So no matter how
Australian tuna is vicious.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say, no matter how vicious or ugly it is, you can't eat it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, I was about to make some joke about, because it's Australia, it was still in the can when it did that.
No, I just used my vegan powers to absorb the lethality of the natural environment into my body and then use it as a survival mechanism.
Is that why there are so many more vegans these days?
Yeah, especially in Australia. They found out that the best way to not get killed by Australia is to become a vegan and just absorb the power of Australia.
Have you ever had a spider under your toilet seat?
No. They don't hang out under there. It's too gross.
Oh, gosh.
I have a segue for that. Not even close. You seem to be a very well-learned man. Who do you look up to? Who are your role models, your inspirations?
Trading out in and out role models every single day. I am at one point when I was trying to go for the science career, I was looking up to all of the best scientists in history because I don't know, I just have really high standards. Or those were the ones I were exposed to in my old little children's books of dead famous and horrible histories. So I was reading those as a kid and going, Albert Einstein and Isaac Newton were awesome, and wanting to be exactly like them, which of course, I can't because that's a pretty lofty sort of standard, even for people who are good at science, which turns out I'm not that good at science.
Cloud, all you have to do is undiscover gravity, and you'll be the new Isaac Newton.
You said you were studying
you'll be
art
that
science.
guy.
I'm sorry.
I was studying art science. I was studying art science because I do like science. I like learning things. I can understand science and I can learn science. I'm just not good at doing science. So I'm not good at like standing around in a laboratory and making discoveries, which is why I wanted to try and change tracks to science journalism, because that involves more of the learning and communicating side.
I see. Okay, I understand now.
Well, I do have.
That?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
I thought I timed that right, and I'm like, no one's talking. Nope. This is a bit of a holdover from a previous holiday. Feel free to tell me to drop dead not answering it. Do you believe in true love?
No. I believe in regular love.
How would you differentiate regular love from true love?
Well, I never usually get a definition for true love anyway. It's usually just, it's true love because it's love, but better somehow.
So what you're saying is that you're not looking for Miss Right, you're looking for Miss Right now.
Oh, I believe that that would be Miss or Mr., correct?
Yeah, sure.
Huh?
Never mind.
No, I didn't hear exactly what Crowne Prince said.
Yeah, I believe. What is your, I guess, sexual orientation?
Oh, I don't give a shit.
Yes, so that's what, right.
Ooh, in that case,
that's what I thought
Mr.
there was
right now.
Yes. Oh, good.
It's a little bit harder to find Misters than Missuses for a dude, because the majority of people who I know are heterosexual, and the ones who aren't, I don't have that much interest in, not because they are the same gender, but because they're just coincidentally generally unpleasant people.
So you're looking for more people who just generally don't give a shit.
Yeah, basically.
Sorry.
Well, no, I do have a girlfriend at the moment.
Oh.
But yeah.
She doesn't have to know.
No, she knows, and she's fine with it.
No, you didn't understand what Peter was saying there.
What?
I believe Peter was making a pass. Mazel tov, shipping artwork, people.
The correct answer to Anthony's question, of course, is that love is just a social construct.
Evidently, I wasn't paying attention to whatever it was Peter said. Something is lost on me, and I feel like I'm being laughed at.
All right, so
help me!
My
laugh. Social anxiety is going up.
You're right. I have a more basic question here. Is there anything that you enjoy that you're terrible at?
Yeah, making videos on the internet.
If that's terrible, I want to see what you're good at.
Yes, senpai, we love your stuff.
So then what led you to decide I'm going to sit down and make a video and put it on the internet?
Oh, it's because I think it's good at the time. But then 15 minutes after I upload it, I think it's terrible.
Is there inebriation involved in this at all?
No, it's usually because I go away and watch somebody from like another reviewer who I think who I really enjoy, like Adam Johnson from Your Movie Sucks or Super Bunny Hop, make really good videos, and then I just look at them and I'm like, I'm not as good as them. Therefore, I am not good. Which I don't know. I feel like that's that like I should have learned how to deal with that from Pinky Pride, but I don't absorb lessons from children's cartoon shows that well.
Do you aspire to be as good?
Yes, I try to improve myself all the time. The only problem is that my improvement is incredibly incremental because of the infrequency videos that get released on my channel, because they take so damn long. Because I'm a one-man team who does the writing, the research, the editing, the drawing, the sound editing, and stitching it all together. And I also do university, so it takes too long.
I can hardly imagine being in a situation like that.
Hey, I do all that. Plus, I have a full-time job.
She was talking about her.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, Corpulent.
Let Crowne Prince have her moment, damn it, and interrupting the guest on her time.
You know, Corpulent refers to his ego.
Yes.
Aha.
Yes.
I just killed the joke.
Actually, it refers to my my corpulent.
Indeed. We'll get back to this, though. Tell me something that you would surprise people about yourself, Cloud. A misconception about yourself, perhaps, that you'd like to clarify.
Don't know. I suppose things that surprises a few people. I'm trying to think of something.
I was waiting for you to say deep down inside, I hate birds. He's like, oh my god, do I want a chicken sandwich? Oh my god. A&Y said he wanted to be a French maid. I was waiting for you to hit me with something at least half as good as that.
But you would expect that from A&Y.
I didn't. I thought I was so. Go ahead.
Let me just make something up. Okay, I lied about everything. I'm actually a New Zealander.
I can fix this in post. It's okay.
I'm actually a woman who just happens to have a deep voice. I'm not the one who does the drawings. I have a mole in the basement who I keep chained up to a wall, and I've trained it to produce cartoons for me.
Oh, like cheekie.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I think I coughed. I
Yes.
think my microphone might have picked that up. And, yeah, that was a cough. Sorry.
I'm expecting her to come up to you, Akan, start parking you in the chest. Do you have something to say to me, man?
I'm getting strep. I just had strep throat.
No, that's
I'm
fine.
just kidding.
This is going to be some of the politest editing I've ever had to do. Is there something you'd say that you're overconfident of? Like, what's something you're the master of, in your opinion? I do this better than anyone else.
I don't know. I'm usually not confident enough.
I believe in you, senpai.
What's something I'm overconfident about? I suppose I'm a little bit overconfident in my writing ability, at least when I am writing, because I attempt to, and this is what a lot of proofreaders, aka my mother and my girlfriend, say, submit script to either my mother, my girlfriend, or one of the many gracious people who've offered to proofread one of my scripts. Sort of assume that, sort of ironically, that my intent will shine through all the time, and that if one of my proofreaders has, which sort of defeats the purpose of getting a proofreader, but I assume if one of my proofreaders has come up with a different interpretation of something that I've written, that if I just explain my intent to them, then they'll get it, which they usually do, but then I have to explain my intent to everyone in the comment section, because they all don't get it on a first reading either. I guess I'm overconfident in my ability to get meaning across, which is ironic because I made that Death of the Author video.
Hey, are you going to PonyCon?
No.
Man.
Anthony C. wanted me to go, except I don't have any money. I don't have the funds to fly interstate. It's being held in Sydney this year, and I'm in Melbourne. And it was in Melbourne last year, so I could attend it. But because it's in Sydney,
That's a bummer.
it's out of my reach. Although I guess I could just trek there because I'm Australian.
Yeah.
But
You
it would take...
So then trying to raise funds from supporters is not something you considered?
Well, I don't typically want to ask people for like money over the internet because it's not. First of all, it's not usual. I haven't heard of many instances outside of like the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge that are actually that successful in just raising money by just asking people, especially for something as innocuous as just getting a plane ticket and a hotel to stay in Sydney and a ticket to a My Little Pony convention.
I think Ink Rose.
It's not.
Yeah,
I knew it was
remember
coming.
her doing something like that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but Ink Rose is Ink Rose.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's very polite of you, sir. We'll leave that there. Let's go to
her fan base isn't here.
The first time I ever interacted with Ink Rose over Skype was when I got called into a public debate about whether or not people should be able to represent homosexuals in children's television, and it got heated.
You know she won't draw those.
Won't draw what?
Yeah, I found this on her commission list, and I don't mind saying this because I asked her.
The views and opinions of Peter, Aeon, and Neuromancer are not the views and opinions shared by the rest of the cast.
And,
you may continue.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she has certain opinions or attitudes. You can go to her, if she still has that commission list up, you can go and look. She never got back to me, so I don't mind revealing this. She will not draw homosexual couples.
She actually says that on the
on her commission list, yeah.
Well, I suppose it's reasonable if if there are enough people asking her that she has to clarify it to them all the time. But
I'm not implying anything. You can think for yourself, audience, because I trust you.
Yeah.
Well, look at it this way, Peter. If she doesn't like homosexuals, that means there's more homosexuals for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't want to share.
But that implies that homosexuality is quantifiable. That's not meant to lead into anything. I was just being postmodernist.
Okay. I'm going to get
This
to
answer is postmodern.
Yes, I'm going to get to a question that like 95% of guests usually wuss out on. What's the most trouble you've ever been in your whole life? Give us a good story.
A good story. What's the most trouble?
I want to hear about this super kangaroo mutant spider with 6 arms.
And how you took it on with a Bowie knife.
Yes.
This is my knife.
Well, I was drinking a gallon of. I was drinking a gallon of Australian vodka down by the Billabong, throwing 16 boomerangs at once and catching them all in my mouth. And a bunyip turned up out of nowhere with its hideous claws and terrifying roar, and it chopped me in half with its and swallowed my upper half, and I had to carve my way out with my blunt boomerangs and then stitch my lower half back onto my upper half with the native grass.
So this is a typical Tuesday for you.
No, it's a typical Thursday. Tuesday is when the sky falls and all of the Australians have to hold it back up again.
I thought you were going to say that's when all the Australians fall into space because of gravity.
Yeah, gravity. Actually, in Australia, gravity is a social construct. So if you stop believing in it, you float away.
Sweet, you can be that super awesome anti-Isaac Newton who disproves gravity by jumping out of the 21st story and be like, "Ha, SoCal."
We do not recommend anybody try jumping out of a building. Again.
It only works if you're Australian, Corpulent.
Yeah. On the assumption that no Australians are listening to this cast, hey dudes, only if you're Australian can you defy gravity.
We're gonna get like a lawsuit. This fucking American kids.
Well, Cloud, if you had one lesson to teach to your peers, Brony or otherwise, what would it be?
Be as contrarian as you can.
I listen, senpai.
What lesson would you like to learn from them?
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree? Be as contrarian as you can. Well, in that case, contradict me.
Oh, I get it.
No, I get the feeling Cloud just ripped off his shirt, beat his chest, and be like, "Contradict me, wench."
That's sir to you.
And Crowne drew a sword as she said that.
Yeah, I pictured when he sat there and said birds. I'm just imagining Crowne Prince and like her wolf persona going, "Birds? What kind of weirdo would pick birds?"
I know. Actually, I was thinking the same thing. So it was interesting to hear that. Oh, what are you planning to do next?
I'm actually working on a 3-part series on a book that my girlfriend gave me for Christmas called Birdsong. And because of the title, I'm thinking of singing.
Oh, dear.
Birdsong.
I mean, yes, that sounds wonderful.
I can't sing, so it's probably going to be like a comedic thing. I'm probably just going to sing the Monty Python Philosopher's drinking song. Does nobody
that's
here know?
A great song.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah.
And because it's in their skit where they pretend to be Australian academics.
Bruce,
yeah, that one.
Yeah, and American Beer is a lot like making love in a canoe.
How so?
Fucking close to water.
Yeah, that's a good one. And American Beer is fucking close to water.
Oh.
You took that from Clifford Beats.
Do you have a favorite animated series?
Favorite animated series? I
love how you sat there. Animated. Is that in a book?
Hold on, let me check my shelf. I don't appear to have any animated books.
No.
Oh, not one. That's weird. I should go out and get some animated books.
Yes.
Oh no, wait.
I have a postmodern bookstore.
Pop-up book from my childhood. That's the only animated book I've read. So I guess my favorite animated series would be Oscar's River Adventure for 9-year-olds.
I can't say it's that far from anything else.
Hey, Anthony, is the time.
Oh, yes, Corpulent, yes, bust it out.
I was gonna steal it, but you can have it.
Oh. Well, there's always the workaround and not using the exact question. Be like, oh, what's your favorite animated character?
Okay. Mr. Cuckoo Country.
Yeah.
This is a very important question. So I was just wondering, are you familiar with the show My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic?
No, I've never heard of it. Tell me about it.
On this show, there are many animated ponies. And I was wondering, which one would you say is the best of all these ponies, and why would you say that?
Flash Sentry, because I've heard a lot about him, so he must be good.
I'm trying not to die over here.
All right, that's the quote we're going to animate him for. followed by an animation of Corpulent's heart literally breaking in half.
Yeah, a direct link to Cloud's channel, and everybody can. Yeah, that'll be a fiasco.
No, that'd be great animation art. It's like literally like Flash Sentry carrying off CloudCuckooCountry into the sunset.
I would pay for that. I won't, but I would.
You know, I mutilated the work of another analyst. Nice little.
You've officially gotten creepy, Corpulent.
Video myself.
Yes.
And Silver Quil appreciated it. I think
he's like, I'm a bird, not one of those chimera creatures that are a mix mash abomination.
And me coming up to Silver Quil going, fuck off, you stupid half-breed.
Oh, that's another good one.
Well, I'm all out of I'm all out of all my ammo is.
You're not a true bird. You're not 100% bird. You don't commit to it, Birdman. How are you known as Birdman? Why do people call you Birdman? I'm the Birdman around here.
That little bit of audio might be on my channel later if I get bored.
just see Silver Quill just beaten into a corner. He looks like he's about to cry, and yeah.
That's for taking forever for submitting your part to my Enders game review. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Not on air.
Well, I think we've gotten to the tail end of this bad boy. I'd like to thank you for coming on, Cloud. I hope that we haven't bothered and pissed you off too much here. So.
Oh, well, I was about to go and have sex, but this is far more important.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, certainly. That was pretty good. That's certainly better than most of the goddamn podcasts Shelton puts out. But
good for you too?
Huh? I didn't hear. What was it?
I said, did it feel good for you too?
Oh, if I smoked, I would be right now. All right. If anyone wants to continue, they're free to, but I'm going to end the call now. I'd like to thank you all for your time. God bless and take care.
Good night, everyone.